Before we get into today's video, I do want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere, in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance in hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week and I hope everybody is doing well. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about a case that happened back in 2016 in Corpus Christi, Texas. And this situation has so many twists and turns. Before we get into it though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. Do things way more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon is for 18 and up. Over there, we talk about more personal story times. We go live over there. I also have a $2 tier over there where all of the true crime stuff that cannot go on to YouTube due to their terms and policies, that goes over on my Patreon. I also have an Instagram, a Snapchat, and a Facebook, and those are all linked down in my description box if you'd like to come and check me out. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about this story that happened out of Corpus Christi, Texas. And this is surrounding a young woman who's 21 years old named Breanna Wood. Now this situation with Breanna just reminds me of like how unfair life is and how things just happen and sometimes nothing makes sense. So I'm going to do like I typically do. I'm going to tell you guys the whole entire story from the best of my ability with the public information that is already out there. And then at the end, I will give you guys my opinion on what happened. So let's just start at the beginning. Breanna Wood was born on March 8th, 1995, and she was raised by her mother, Fallon Wood, in Corpus Christi, Texas, and she had a brother named Keegan. Back in 2016, Breanna was living on her own as a 21-year-old young woman, and she was just enjoying her life. She was having fun, she would go to shops, she had her friends, and she was very close with her family and specifically her mother. Well, around this time, she had been dating a guy named Joseph Tejeda. And I'm not sure if Breanna and Joseph were kind of like an on-again, off-again situation, but I do know that they had recently broken up. Joseph was born on December 13th of 1990. He was 25 years old at the time and was getting ready to turn 26. And at this time, back in 2016, Joseph had a long criminal history. Very well known in the streets and was closely affiliated with some groups, you know what I mean? The groups that stick together and have a reputation of going out and doing certain things. Yeah, he was involved in one of those. However, Breanna had a big heart and tried to see the best in people. On October 11th of 2016, Breanna actually went to go and meet Joseph, who was her ex at this point, at a store to talk or hang out or just meet up. And Breanna's mother, Fallon, would later say that she heard from Breanna at about 10 p.m. that night, and Breanna said that she was getting ready to head her way. She was coming home. Now, like I said earlier, Breanna and her mother were super close, and Fallon, Breanna's mother, said that Breanna would always send these sweet text messages to her. And for any of y'all that are moms that have children of texting ages, just listen to one of these text messages that Breanna would send her mom, just randomly. Good morning, mother. I just want to let you know I'm thinking about you and I love you so much. You have no idea what a blessing it is to have a mother like you. Remember, I'm always here for you no matter what. Love you, Mom. So like I was saying, October 11th, 2016, Breanna goes to meet her ex-boyfriend at this store. She texts her mom, says, hey, I'm on the way home. And Fallon, Breanna's mom, doesn't hear from her anymore after that. And by October 18th, Breanna had never made it home and her mother still hadn't heard from her. This is like a week later. And so Breanna's mother went and filed a missing persons report with the Corpus Christi Police Department. When investigators began to look into Breanna's disappearance, they realized that her phone had been disconnected and she had never came back to her apartment, or nothing was missing. Everything was left the exact same way as she would typically have it. There was no clothes packed up. There was no sign of somebody leaving or running away from their family or their responsibilities. Everything seemed normal except for her being gone and her phone being disconnected. On October 25th, family and friends gathered for a prayer vigil. And 5 days later, on October 30th, Breanna's mother posted on Facebook saying another night had gone by and that her daughter hadn't been found. And at this point, it had been 19 days. Family and friends of Breanna created a GoFundMe account in order to raise money so they could have their own investigation, or they could search for Breanna. Then on November 30th, people got what they thought would be a break in the case. And this is when the police released a clip of a security camera footage of a woman that went into a pawn shop. Now, she looked just like Breanna, and she was in there on October 17th, and she used Breanna's ID. So they released this video of this woman in the security camera footage, and she became a suspect. Okay, why do you have Breanna's ID? Why are you in the pawn shop using it? But when they found who this woman was, this is when they realized that she wasn't a suspect and that she did look kind of similar to Breanna, and that Breanna had allowed her to use her ID before. Then on January 2nd of 2017, there was a real break in the case. At around 5 p.m., an inmate that was in the county jail there reached out to the police and said that they knew where the missing Breanna Wood's body was. We all know that inmates in the jail will say all kinds of things, trying to get a deal, trying to get out early. So when the investigators went to go talk to this inmate said that somebody had paid him $500 to help him hide a body in an abandoned house, and that he could take them straight to the house. So the investigators got this inmate, and the inmate took them to where he was talking about. When they took the inmate to the property, he directed them to an abandoned oil field trailer surrounded by brush off of State Highway 666 near Robstown. The inmate pointed over to a box that measured less than 2 foot by 2 foot. Not a big box at all. The box was covered with a sheet and closed with duct tape. When the detectives opened the box, this is when they found a body that was completely wrapped in plastic. The body was taken to the medical examiner, who confirmed that yes, it was Breanna. But then another break in the case, because the very next day, another inmate that was in the county jail reached out to detectives and said that they knew who had actually killed Breanna Wood. They said it was a man named Joseph Tejeda. Now, according to this inmate, Joseph, again, remember the beginning of the video, was Breanna's ex-boyfriend and the guy that she went to meet at the store that evening when she texted her mom and said she was on her way home but never showed up and disappeared from there, was a cellmate of this inmate in the county jail. Joseph had actually been arrested for some unrelated burglary charge, and this inmate said that Joseph told him that he killed his ex-girlfriend Breanna. According to this inmate, Joseph told him that he shot Breanna and killed her, then broke her arm, and then R-worded her lifeless body. He said that he thought that Joseph was just talking crap, jailhouse talk, trying to be hard while he was in there, until he was in the jail and he was watching the news and he saw that Breanna's body had been found. The investigators then believed that it was indeed Joseph that did this to Breanna, because the details of what happened to her and how she was murdered was never released to the public. And now this inmate knew exactly how she was killed, basically, that she had been shot and her body had been taken advantage of and all of this stuff. And this is when they started looking at Joseph. By January 9th of 2017, Joseph was arrested for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Breanna Wood. And he looks demonic. And it ain't the tattoos, it's in his eyes. When you look into his eyes, it's horrifying. The next day after his arrest, when Joseph appeared in court, he blew kisses to the woman in the gallery and flashed his middle finger to the media. And then in March of 2017, a grand jury indicted Joseph for first-degree murder. A lot of the details have been kept secret and under a gag order, and the case went quiet after that until December of 2017. Now you can only imagine Fallon, Breanna's mom, okay? After this time, her daughter, she has this close relationship with, she loves very much. She has a son as well. You know, Breanna's brother is probably all tore up because of this situation. Then on December 29th of 2017, the prosecutor announced that 7 people had been arrested for the murder of Breanna Wood. Now this is including Joseph, okay? So 6 more people. Why in the world would 6 more people be involved in this situation with Breanna? 2 of the people, Sandra Vasquez and Christopher Gonzalez, were charged with capital murder and engaging in criminal activity. Sandra also faced aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon, and she was facing the death penalty too. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because one of the 6 people that were arrested was Joseph's mother, Rosalina Musella. She was charged with tampering with physical evidence. The state alleged that Joseph's mother rented a U-Haul truck for him in order to help him move Breanna's body in this 2x2 or less than 2x2 box. Joseph's mother denied these allegations, and as a matter of fact, Joseph's stepfather would later say that yes, she rented him a U-Haul truck, but she did not rent it so he could move the body. She rented it so he could move his stuff out of his place. But you can only imagine the shock of his mother being arrested for tampering with evidence too. 2 of the other people were arrested for tampering with physical evidence, and a man named Theodore Allen was also charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. Now, during this time, more charges were actually added to Joseph because the prosecution alleged that this wasn't just like a mad ex-boyfriend that was evil and did this to Breanna. They started saying that there was this whole entire conspiracy around her murder, and it had something to do with like payment for other crimes. Again, remember Joseph being allegedly involved in like gangs in different organizations like that. And that's where this Sandra and Christopher came into the picture. Sandra's indictment accuses her and Christopher of conspiring to have Breanna killed instead of them actually killing Joseph. Now again, because of the gag order, there's so many details that are missing. It just seems like, okay, there's all these different things going on at once. But nevertheless, that is what we know. The prosecution also announced that they would be seeking the death penalty, and Breanna's mother and other family and friends said at a press conference that this announcement was a long time coming. Now, Fallon has been very active over the years on the social media page that she had for her daughter. She's done many interviews. She's been to all of these court hearings, and she vowed to bring whoever did this to her daughter to justice for her daughter. And she made a Facebook post after this press conference, and it said, "I have waited 450 days for today. I can smile up to my daughter and tell her, I promised you, baby, I would get them. Get them all. I know this won't bring you back to me, but you are the angel that will save another mother from ever hurting, and justice for everyone they ever hurt. Love you more, Bree, always." So during this time, Joseph's trial was set to happen the following year. And there were all of these delays. I mean, there were different attorneys that were pulling out. He would go up into like these different court hearings and say, my attorney wants me to take a plea deal or plead guilty. I'm not doing it. I want to take this to trial. The public defenders were probably like, look at this evidence against you. You need to take a deal. Different public defenders were asking to be released from the case. And then this man, y'all, goes in front of the court system and asks to have the court system pay to have his face tattoos removed before he goes to trial. Do they do that somewhere? I'm trying to figure out, is that our tax dollars that pays for that? Like, No, that's what you looked like when you allegedly committed this crime. You need to go to trial looking exactly how you are. What, you want us to give you a haircut and a nice suit and like a couple little rings and a teacup as well? Like, that is, I don't know. I've never heard of that request before. Y'all let me know if you've heard of that. Nevertheless, the judge denied his request, thankfully, and he was still set to go on to trial. On January of 2018, Joseph was brought into the court to enter his plea of not guilty. The others that were charged also pled not guilty, and prosecutors, again, they were seeking the death penalty. Then get this, in October of 2018, Joseph was offered a plea deal of 2 years in like the conspiracy charges that he had, not the murder charge, but the conspiracy charges, in order to testify against the co-defendants. And he took it. He took it. So he testified against them, and he ended up getting 10 years for that, but he was still facing the capital murder charge. There were many more delays, and then it brought it all the way to 2020 when COVID hit, and then there were more delays. Then you fast forward to April of 2022, okay, last year. This is when like a scandal went out in the media, especially in that area. Allegedly, the assistant to the district attorney contacted Fallon, Breanna's mom, and said, "I'm overwhelmed. I'm swamped." The district attorney, who at that time was allegedly Mark, I'm going to say allegedly, I wasn't there, okay? He's not helping me with this. He's not doing things. She's like, "I've got papers everywhere. Like, I need your help. Can you come in and help me sort through all of these testimonies and stuff so we can keep this trial moving?" Allegedly, okay? Fallon, being the mother, said, "Of course, I'll do anything I can to help my daughter's, like, basically case," right? This is against the people that supposedly had murdered her daughter. So she went in. I feel like any mother would do. Anybody asks me to come in and help, I'm there, right there. You want me to be there at 7 o'clock? Okay, see you at 6:30 a.m. She goes in, she's sorting through all of these testimonies and stuff like that, and it gets out some way, somehow. Now, allegedly, this assistant prosecutor told Fallon, "Hey, just don't tell anybody about this." According to Fallon, she didn't tell her, "Hey, this could mess up the case. You're not allowed to do this at all," especially with a gag order involved. She just said, "Hey, don't tell anybody." It got out some way, somehow, and you guys, Joseph's defense attorney and the other one's defense attorney was trying to get the whole entire case thrown out. Can you imagine Fallon, like the mother at this point, thinking that it was possible that these people, especially Joseph, this guy right here that went to go and meet her, that looks like he bites the heads off of bats for fun, is literally getting ready to be, boop, released, free, and cannot be prosecuted again because she was trying to help. She was asked for help, and she went, oh, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. This is when Fallon even sent a letter saying that she was going to sue everybody. Oh my gosh, I do not blame her at all. Long story short, they went in front of the judge, and the judge said, "No, we're not throwing this case completely out for this. Yes, some things were mishandled and was inappropriate, but we're not throwing the whole case out." Thank God. That would have been horrible. And Fallon had to testify, and so did the prosecutor, Mark, as well as the assistant prosecutor, while Joseph sat in there and stared at all of them and was thinking that he might be let out with nothing after he did what he did to Breanna. So at this point, Joseph is still sitting in jail, and this guy's got all the time in the world, right? He's facing a capital murder charge. He's already sentenced 10 years. He ain't got nothing else to do. He can drag this out as long as he wants. However, in August of this year, 2023, Joseph took a plea deal, and it's what I would consider the plea deal of a lifetime. When I heard about this, I was fuming. I had steam coming out of my ears. I could not believe this. However, I understand why it went the way that it went with his mother, and he ended up taking a plea deal for 25 years to plead guilty. Yes, 25 years with time served. Now, he got time for a bunch of his charges, but they ran them all concurrent, so all at the same time. He got the 25 years for the murder for Breanna's death, 20 years for the burglary charge, and 20 years for the assault of a public servant. With all of the charges run together and the time served, because by this point it's already 2023, he has 18 years left to serve, and if he gets like good time, if he is good while he's in prison, he might even get out earlier. And with that plea deal, the state also agreed to drop the tampering with evidence charge against his mother. So what does Fallon, Breanna's mom, think about this? I read a statement that she gave, and it is seemingly that she agreed with this plea deal. She was obviously exhausted at this point, and I just can't imagine the toll that this takes on a person, a mother. You know that saying of like, no mother or parent should ever have to bury their child. Well, no mother or parent should ever have to bury their child and then go through years of agony in a court system too, and never even being able to grieve. I can't imagine. We're seeing that same situation with, you know, the Idaho case. We're seeing it with Gabby Petito is still going on, and I just cannot imagine what these families go through. However, Fallon did, as brave as she is, get up and speak at Joseph's hearing, and she said, "I had to put my anger and hate aside. This plea deal was not for you. This was for Breanna, finally to let her soul be at peace and rest." Breanna's mom also told Joseph that she would never forgive him for what he did. What do I think about this case? I mean, I think I've kind of sprinkled it throughout. This is horrible, horrible, horrible. And the other people involved and not even still really knowing like what the prosecution knew and what made them arrest these people and why these people helped it. And for $500, an inmate helped bury a body in a box. Not for any amount of money, obviously would be appropriate, but for $500, like, and why did he really do it? Will he ever tell the truth? Like I said, when I look in Joseph's eyes, I see darkness, like in many other cases that we've talked about before. And I just don't know why Breanna was even with him. She was such a light with like so much light in her eyes and a big, beautiful smile. I mean, I can't judge her for it. We've all dated a bad boy, right? Some of us have been bad girls before, but like, it's just awful. And to think too that not only did he do this, but then he turned around and went and bragged about it in a jail cell to somebody, disgusting, and then got 25 years, with time served and possibly gained time. Awful. But like Breanna's mom said, let Fallon, Breanna's mother, and Keegan, Breanna's brother, like have peace. Like let them grieve and, you know, have some sort of peace. So what do you guys think? Have y'all ever heard about this case? I just was thinking about all my friends that are girl moms too. I mean, any parent, but a girl mom, and you have those emotional text messages between you and your kids, and, you know, looking back and reading those text messages, and it's just awful. Y'all let me know what you guys think down below. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.